Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this week's video, we are going to take a little bit of a dive into synth brass, and the synth we're going to use today for that is the Melbourne Instruments Zelia, and the music we're going to make today sounds like this. So let's get into it. As you can see here, we've got a little bit of a track that I've been working on, and I've been doing some stuff with synth brass. So I thought that I would kind of do a little bit of a tutorial and show you how I make the patch, which is a relatively simple patch, but then how I layer it to get the best sound possible. So let's start with just coming along. We're going to go load all the way down to initialize preset. So we just have a very simple sawtooth patch, and for this I have a little bit of MIDI to play along. So very, very simple, but we can use that as we shape the patch so you can hear the changes in real time. So let's get into it. So let's go first to patch, and this is where we're going to change the main sort of like the master controls of the sound. So we want to go to unison voices, and we're going to change this to 2. So now you can hear there, they've stacked right on top of each other, so we're getting 2 voices there, but we want to detune to kind of spread those sounds out a little bit. So we're going to go, we've got 0 here. You can hear as I detuned it, it's kind of giving us more of a wide sound and giving us a better sound overall. So that is about it for that. Just going through. Yeah, everything else looks pretty good. Now we can start to look at the oscillators and kind of giving us that sound generation to then shape the rest of it. So for the first oscillator, we have it set to a saw wave. We have the tuning set. We don't have any detuning, and we have the volume set to full. For oscillator 2, we're going to click the coarse. We're going to go, actually, before we do that, let's turn the volume up. We're going to go full on that one as well. You can hear it sounds getting a little bit thicker. We'll click the coarse, and we're going to go down to 16 feet. Now you can hear that the 2 oscillators kind of separated by that octave there. And we're going to change the, we're going to detune it just a little bit more on the fine tune. So let's go, it's a little bit sensitive. 17 is good there. And then we're going to change the shape to a square wave. So you can give us a little bit different timbre there, and it's going to give us a little bit more weight because of the because of the square wave being down 1 octave. Next up, we're going to click over to the second oscillator, and we're not going to use oscillator 3. We're going to go down to the noise generator. So you can see we've got tune and type, so it's giving us 2 functions per, because when it's the noise, we have it's going to give us the type, the tone, and oscillator 4. So we're going to go to noise. For the tone, we're going to go full to 100, and then if we come across, we turn oscillator 1 and 2 down, you'll be able to hear what's going on. So you can hear that changing that noise, sort of more of a white noise, kind of more of a filtered, maybe down to like a pink noise there. But we're going to go full 100, and then again for the volume, we're going to go about 38.7, that's good there. let's come across again to oscillator 1 and 2, and you can hear that it just adds that little bit of grit in the background. If I turn it off, it's pretty smooth sounding for a saw and a square, but if I turn that back up again, just roughs up the sound a little bit more. So now that we've done the oscillators, we're going to come across to the VCA, which is effectively the volume of it's going to control the volume. We want that level set to 100, so this envelope is going to affect it 100%. So for this, we're going to go about around 10 for the attack. Decay is going to be about 10. Sustain is going to be 100, and then the release is about 15. Now we can click over to the VCF, which is the filter, and that's the envelope that's going to control this filter here. So to start, let's pull down the filter all the way, and then we can turn up the level. And as you can hear, as I turn the volume up, or the level rather, it's how much of this envelope is affecting this filter. So we're going to go 100 on that. And then for the filter, we're going to increase that attack, so we're getting that sort of quick attack, but you can hear it's like sort of pulling into those notes. Decay is going to be about 40, 39.7, and the sustain is going to be pulled all the way down. Now you can hear we're getting that more sort of a staccato sound. And then the release, we can go up to, let's just do it by ear there. Just remember that we don't have very much release on the actual amp envelope. So even if we were to increase this VCF envelope all the way, the release, we're not getting that coming through because there's no sound behind it. If I was to increase this release here on the amp, you can hear that coming through now. We're going to keep that down about 20, and then the VCF, we're going to have it set, the release set to about 40. Now for the drive, we want a little bit more drive, so we're going to go up to 50 there. And then for the resonance, we're going to increase this. You can hear as we get to sort of 40-ish, it gets a little bit too spacey. We don't want that. We just want a little bit more bite on that filter. So 26 is good there. And now we can look at some of the effects. So if we go to effect 1 here, you can see we got chorus. We can either do the sender level here, or we can do here. So for this, let's go 47, 48 for that one. We just want to like spread that sound a little bit more. And then effects 2, we can go, we got effects 2 here, type. We can go into reverb. And that's a lot of reverb there, so let's edit that. Just pull that down to like 16, 17. And I think we're pretty good from there. So if I play it with the rest of the music, and it's not too bad. It's a decent sort of sound. But I think we can do more to it. So one trick that I like to do and you can already see that I've got 2 bits up here, is I've gone in and recorded this same patch in twice. And then the reason I do that is so I can then pan left and right to get a nice wide stereo image of this sound. So let's come across. We can pan this one, go 41, 41 there. So, and the beauty thing is you can see that the waveforms are slightly different. So because I've recorded this in, it's giving me a different recording each time. So if I was to stack them together, it's not going to cancel each other out like if you were to have 2 like digital synths or 2 plugins doing the same thing. So and you can hear on the patch that I made previous that I do have some shimmer reverb in the background there as well. Now that makes it sound better again. So if we bring that up. So we have something going there that sounds pretty solid, but then the little cherry on top that I like to do is I will go and add a real brass sample in the center. So for this, I've just gone into the Logic stock, nothing crazy. So all I've gone for this one is orchestral brass and trombones. And I like the trombones more than a single tuba sound, even though this is more of sort of the register of a tuba, is because the trombone sounds a little bit more full overall. So right, kind of gives a little bit better sound overall, I think, for this particular track in this case, sort of thing. So if I play them all together, you can hear that coming through just a little bit. And the 2 playing together, I think it works really well. One thing that I also did, I didn't do anything too much in terms of mixing, is I've just got just a reverb, and this is just the Valhalla send that I have for like a medium-sized reverb, and then I just have the replica on there giving us a little bit of delay. So this is pretty much as it comes, as you open the initialized preset, this is what it gives you. 8th dotted. I think I just increased the mix a little bit and the feedback a little bit, and I have that on each of the channels. So then those 3 together now. Helps kind of tie everything together and give it a little bit more tail. So in these little gaps in between the sections playing, it's not so empty sounding. And if we play it with the rest of the music and drums, and I would just decrease that brass just a little bit. I want it really sort of level in there. I don't want it sort of punching out above the synth sounds. And the other synth I have in on top of it is just this little attack synth. Just simple little patch there, just to kind of add a little bit more interest in there. So that is about it for this week. Just wanted to show you something really simple, but I love that little trick of recording the synth in twice, panning it, and then putting a real brass sample or real brass instrument in the middle to kind of add a real fullness to the instrument and to the sound, just because it is rather simple. So having them all combined together will give us something a little bit more. So at the end of the day, hopefully this has inspired you to create something. And until next time, see you later.